Hi guys, and welcome to the Euro Car Show. Today we're reviewing the brand new BMW 5 Series, but this is not just any 5 Series, this is the 530e. And what does the E stand for? Well, it stands for electric. Actually, this car is not fully electric, it's an hybrid, but we'll get more into that later. Right now, let's talk quickly about what changed design-wise. Honestly, from the exterior, the back is completely facelifted, I would say, or at least very changed. It doesn't look like the old one, it's more round, maybe a little less aggressive. It's not better than the previous model, I just think it's different, but definitely less aggressive than the previous one. That being said, the front is, well, it changed a bit, I mean the headlights and so on, but the change is barely noticeable. You can see it if you know the old model. It's not like the E-Class where you can see there's something that happened there. The changes are less pronounced, I would say. Yeah, this car being an E, they had to add like a few blue reflections, as well as those awesome wheels, which I really like. They're 19 inches, which is big, and they do look awesome on this car. I mean, it changes the car completely. I've seen a few 5 Series without big wheels, I would say, yeah, like so the smaller ones. I think they're like 16 or 17, and honestly, pay the extra, it's really worth it. Even if you want to sell it later on, if the car looks better, you're gonna sell it easier, and it does look better. Alright, moving on to the interior, there is indeed an upgrade. It's better finished, it looks better, the dials are completely new, they look like in the 7 Series. You can basically change them and configure them differently if you're in sports or Eco Pro or just regular comfort driving or anything like that. The climate controls and CDs and basically the infotainment system, yeah, the screen has changed a bit. It's not the exact same configuration, but besides that, there's not much change, you know. The change happened on the finish. You can see the leather way better than they used to be. The mood lighting in the interior is awesome. This is all blue, and I really dig it. Since the car is blue, it has blue reflection. You know, it's a hybrid, so apparently blue is the new green. Yeah, and besides that, not many changes. I mean, maybe the gear lever has changed. The park used to be in a different position, now it's a bit different, but I mean the redesign, once again, it's not a huge leap forward, but whatever. The previous model's interior was very good, so you know, why change a good thing? And this car also comes with those incredible seats. They look awesome with the diamond stitching, and they feel incredibly comfortable. They really are. This is like the best headrest I've had in a car, like maybe if you're not counting the 7 Series again, because those are very similar seats and they're super adjustable, and it feels really awesome, and you're not gonna get tired after a long journey or anything. But that's not only that, this car comes with all the little tech features that were present in the 7 Series, such as, you know, the air gesture control. You can, you know, move your finger and turn up the volume, turn down the volume, change songs, you know, stuff like that. Again, is that really important to have in a car when you have like this is like a third or fourth way to turn up the volume? Is it really necessary? I don't think so, but you know, it looks good, so I cannot really complain about that. Finally, tech-wise, this car has lane assist. It can stand in between the lanes. It has like this adaptive cruise control thing. All the things that we've grown used to in BMWs, so it doesn't really seem like a huge leap forward. And overall, the interior is, and the car isn't a huge leap forward. I've compared it to the previous 5 Series. My friend has a 520d, and in comparison, it feels maybe better balanced, but this also feels heavier, and despite having a lot more power than the 520d from the previous generation, it doesn't feel that much quicker. It's supposed to have almost 100 horsepower over that, but it's not, you know, mind-blowingly quicker than the 520. That being said, since we're mentioning specs and so, let's move on to the specifications. This car comes with a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine. Obviously, it's petrol. It also has an electric motor. The combined power output of this car is somewhere about 250 horsepower and a very good amount of torque, 500 Newton meters, and yeah, you can feel it, especially when the batteries of this car are fully recharged, which they're not in my case. You can really feel the boost, and it's really quick. Again, this car comes with the 8-speed automatic. It feels a bit better than before, maybe it's in my mind, but it feels smoother when it changes gears, especially when you're like in Eco Pro or Comfort don't even feel the shift, so that's nice. But when you're in sports, you know, I like to feel like the gears changing, so this also does it. So I've mentioned the batteries, and you have to know that you have, on a full charge, you have about 50 kilometers of range. I don't think you're gonna get that. You're gonna get on a full charge maybe 40 tops, you know, if you're using only electric and you know, air conditioning, and it's in the end, you know, acceleration and driving normally, not like super carefully, because let's be honest, you don't want to drive your car super carefully every day. So what's the real consumption? Yeah, I would say you don't get 50 kilometers on a full battery. And on a full tank, that's where it gets complicated, you know, because when this car is fully recharged in town, it's zero consumption, you know, it's great. But once you start using the petrol engine, that's where it gets less nicer, I would say, because in town, like, when you're being careful, this car is gonna average on petrol only over 10 liters per 100 kilometers, which I think is a bit too much for a car that's supposed to be on paper uber economical. So once you run out of battery, it's not economical anymore. Fully recharging this car will take around 8 hours at home. Last little thing about that, when you put the car in sports, the batteries are gonna recharge themselves. It's basically like the i8. It's a very similar system. You get pretty much the same thing, like with e-boost and the recharging in sport and so on. But what you have to know, that in this hybrid configuration, you're giving up something that might be crucial or essential for some of you guys, and that's trunk space. You're losing a lot of trunk space, especially like depth wise, because now you have batteries, so where else do you fit them? Finally, how does it feel to drive? Well, it's a 5 Series, it's way sportier than an E-Class or anything like that, at least in my opinion. I think it's a great driving car. In spite of being a large sedan, this drives nicely and you can have some fun with it, especially 250 horsepower is a good number to have some fun with a car. Now, its closest competitors are the Mercedes 400h or cars like that, and one of them is the GS. I don't know if it's the 300h or the 450h, because the 300h is way more economical than this car, but the 450h is performance-wise far, you know, way closer to this car, because the 300h is slow. There's no way around it, it's slow. And if I were to compare it with the 450h, with, mind you, it has like a 3.5 liter engine, I think overall the GS 450h is gonna be more economical than this car. And I don't know how they manage. Either Lexus are very good at this game, since they've been in the hybrid with Toyota and so on. They've been in the hybrid game for a long time now. If you want to get an economical BMW, go for the diesel. I would do that. So in conclusion, I would say the new 5 Series is a nice facelift, not really a new model, because again, when you compare it with the old one, there aren't that many differences, but that doesn't mean it's a bad car. I think it's a very good car. The chassis is amazing, you can have fun with it, you can fit people in it, you can fit luggage. Well, if you're not buying the hybrid, at least you can fit a decent amount of luggage. The finishes are awesome, it looks good on the interior, it looks good from the exterior. Overall, it's a great car. I couldn't say this is a bad car, but I'm not saying this is the best car you can buy, especially that finally you have to know that I've got the spec sheet from BMW. This car, with all the option, it has heads-up display and so on, you know, leather and blah blah blah. This car is almost 80,000 euros. It's almost 80,000 euros. That's like a second-hand Ferrari 430 right there. So I think it doesn't really justify the price. I would say this is more like a maybe 60,000 euros car. There it would be a fair price for what it offers. Bottom line, I reckon this is a car you should test drive for yourself, and if you can afford it, go for it. You're not gonna be disappointed. But if you have the older model, is it worth the upgrade? I would think twice about it, and I wouldn't rush a decision. I'd really consider everything and maybe wait a couple more years to change it up. Alright, this is it for today, guys. I thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review with the BMW 530e. I did enjoy this car, and it felt pretty great to kind of own it for a week or so. And if you guys enjoyed my review, I strongly encourage you to like it, share it with your friends, and last but not least, subscribe for more. This is very important for me. It allows me to get more cars to review. The more subscribers, the more content, and the more content, the more chances to get awesome cars on this channel. So yeah, make sure to click that button. Click it.